I found a piece of bone in my baby's pap, boiled and crushed so finely that if I hadn't tasted it first, my daughter wouldn't have swallowed it. My mother-in-law made that pap, and she smiled as I almost choked when my husband, Daniel, and I got married. I already knew his mother didn't like me, but I never imagined how far she would go. Daniel was the first son. His mother, Mama Ruth, treated him like a god. When we got married, she said I was too proud, even though I greeted her every time I saw her. She said I bewitched her son, even though I was the one always begging Daniel to call her more. After the wedding, Daniel said we should stay with his family for 6 months to save money. I didn't want to, but I agreed because he promised we'd move out soon. That was the biggest mistake of my life. From day one, Mama Ruth made it clear I wasn't welcome. She gave me a small room near the kitchen and told me not to touch anything in the main house. She called me names in Igbo when Daniel wasn't around, names like Anayoshi, thief, and Muo, spirit. But Daniel didn't see any of it. She would smile and act sweet in front of him. She would even cook my favorite soup and tell him, "See how I'm taking care of your wife." Then the moment he left, she'd pour out the soup and say, "Only a fool eats food made by another woman under his roof." I kept quiet because I didn't want to cause trouble. I thought maybe she'd get used to me. I was wrong. 3 months later, I got pregnant. Daniel was overjoyed, and surprisingly, so was Mama Ruth. Or so I thought. She started acting nicer, saying, "A baby is a blessing. Even a goat brings peace when it gives birth." She would cook for me, fetch water, and even rub my back. I began to think maybe she had changed. When I gave birth to our baby girl, everything seemed fine. Mama Ruth helped with the baby a lot. She insisted on making the baby's pap herself every morning. I raised 4 children. She'd say, "This one won't die on my watch." But one morning, something happened that I will never forget. I tasted the pap before feeding my daughter. It was something I always did. That day, I felt something strange on my tongue. I spat it out. It was a tiny piece of crushed bone, sharp and white. I checked the rest of the pap and found more. I was shaking. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I called Mama Ruth and asked, "Mama, did you sieve the pap well?" She smiled calmly and said, "Are you now accusing me of trying to harm my own granddaughter?" Daniel was at work, and I didn't want to start drama. I just poured out the pap and made a new one myself. But my heart was not at rest. That night, I didn't sleep. That was the first time I truly feared the woman. The night after I found the bone in the pap, I heard whispers outside my window. Our small room was next to the backyard kitchen. The window was cracked, and the mosquito net was old and torn. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of someone walking slowly on the gravel. Then I heard a voice, a low whisper, deep and breathy. "Kama, let her leave. Let her go." My body froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't even wake Daniel. I just lay there, eyes wide open, listening. Then, silence. In the morning, I told Mama Ruth I heard someone walking in the backyard. She said, "Maybe it was the spirits of your village visiting you." Then she laughed like she had cracked the funniest joke in the world. That day, I called my mother. She said, "Nne, that woman is wicked. Keep salt and Psalm 91 under your pillow." I did exactly that. I didn't tell Daniel. I didn't want him to say I was being paranoid again. But it didn't stop. The whispers came again 2 nights later, and this time, I heard my name. "Come and Ngozi, you're not safe here." One Sunday afternoon, I went to the backyard to hang baby clothes. I saw Mama Ruth kneeling in front of a small mirror, buried halfway into the ground. She didn't see me at first. Her eyes were closed, and her lips were moving fast like she was praying. But there was no Bible, just red powder, a bottle of palm oil, and something that looked like feathers. When she noticed me, she stood up so fast the mirror fell backward. "Why are you sneaking around like a thief?" she barked. I just came to hang baby's clothes, I stammered. She picked up the mirror, dusted it, and said, "Mind your business, or your child will cry blood." I stood there frozen. Did she just say that? Cry blood? That night, I begged Daniel again that we should move out. He sighed and said, "Just give it a few more months. We'll be fine." But I knew we wouldn't be. One day while cleaning, I decided to wash our pillowcases. When I opened the zip of Daniel's pillow, I found something inside. Small charcoal pieces, red cloth, a dried pepper, and a name written on paper. My name. I almost fainted. I took it outside and burned it immediately. Then I prayed the only way I knew how. I poured salt on our bed, read Psalm 35, and cried to God. Later that evening, Mama Ruth came into our room without knocking. She looked at the bed, then at me, and said, "You can burn it, but it will still follow you." Daniel came in just as she left. I tried to explain again, but he just shook his head. "You're letting village stories fill your head. Mama's not a witch." I wanted to scream, but I stayed quiet for 3 whole days. My baby didn't cry. Not even once. She wouldn't move much. She'd just stare into space, barely blinking. I rushed her to the health center. The nurse checked her and said, "This baby is not sick, but something is wrong." That night, Mama Ruth came into the room and said, "Let me carry her. She misses her grandma." I said no. I held my baby tighter. Her smile dropped. "You think you can protect her from me?" she said. I stayed awake all night, holding my baby. At 3 a.m., the lights blinked on and off. The baby whimpered in her sleep for the first time in days. I sang quietly to her, tears streaming down my face. I didn't sleep a second the next day. A strange man came to our gate. He looked like a prophet or herbalist. Long white gown, red beads, and cowrie shells in hand. Mama Ruth ran outside to meet him. I peeked from behind the curtain. They spoke in hushed tones. She gave him a bag, black nylon, the kind she used to carry meat. That night, our neighbor knocked on our door. "Are you people okay?" he asked. "I saw one old man drawing signs at your back door." I knew it. I knew it. I told Daniel again. I begged him. He just said, "Ngozi, stop it. You'll drive me mad with all these suspicions." I realized I was alone in this that weekend. Mama Ruth said she was going for a church program, but she didn't dress like someone going to church. No Bible, no scarf, just a black wrapper and a red blouse. She left early and didn't return until night. That evening, a goat started screaming from the backyard. Loud, terrible sounds. I ran outside and saw blood on the floor. Nothing else. No goat. Just the trail of blood leading to the back of the kitchen. Mama Ruth came out 5 minutes later. Her hands were clean. Too clean. She looked at me and said, "Goats scream before light comes." What does that even mean? I started packing my things. With or without Daniel, I was leaving. I planned to leave in the morning. But that night, something happened. I woke up and saw Mama Ruth standing over our bed. She held something in her hand, a small bowl, with smoke rising from it. Her eyes were closed. I screamed. Daniel woke up. The bowl dropped. "What are you doing in our room, Mama?" Daniel shouted. She stared at him like she didn't recognize him. Then she smiled and walked out. That was the first time Daniel saw something strange. He was shaken. We both stayed up till dawn the next morning. I packed everything. I didn't wait for argument. I called my cousin, and she came with a taxi. Daniel helped me pack. His hands were shaking. As we drove off, Mama Ruth stood at the gate, smiling. "She'll be back," she said. I never went back. And after I left, Daniel started seeing things. He called me weeks later to say he'd moved out too. Till today, I don't know what that woman wanted from me, or my baby, but I know this. Some people don't need a broomstick to be witches. Some wear wrappers and smile like saints, but they are the devil in disguise.